I am John DeVore. Welcome to the channel. It's been a couple of weeks. I apologize. It has been a very, very busy couple of weeks. This is a record review, but first I just want to talk a little bit about why it's been so busy. Last week or a week and a half ago or so was the Axpona high-end audio show, HiFi show in Chicago. And while I haven't exhibited there as a manufacturer for many years, this was actually my first time going to the Axpona show in its current venue, which is actually beautiful. It's in Schaumburg, outside of Chicago, and it's a big convention center and hotel, kind of in the middle of nowhere, sort of suburby sprawl, but a really nice venue, beautiful, decent food, lots of space, well kept up. So I was not an exhibitor there, but one of the rooms, the Lumen room, which is it's a company known for their streamers, but they now make an amplifier as well. They used a pair of O Babies in their room, so I went to sort of help them set them up and unpack them, and I was also put on a panel discussion about speaker design. There was five of us up there on stage, and it was an honor. I was up on stage with Richard Vandersteen, with Andrew Jones, and a number of other people. It was a blast. It was really an honor to be included in that panel, and hopefully it was informative. Also, just since I wasn't tied to a single room at this particular show, which is very unusual for me. I think my memory, I was trying to figure it out while I was there. I think it was only the second show I've ever attended that I wasn't an exhibitor, and so I was free to sort of walk around and say hi to everyone, hi to all of the viewers who came up and recognized me, almost all of which remarked at how much taller I am in real life than I am on YouTube, which makes sense unless you watch on an absolutely enormous telephone. And it was, as always, it was awesome to see all my good friends in the industry. Great vibes. The show seemed to go off really well. The vibes that I got in the hallway just walking around, as any other audiophile would have been, was very positive. Great feel to the show. So that was one of the things I've been busy at. And then the reason that I never exhibit at that show is because I do exhibit at as far as I know, it's the biggest international high-end audio show in the world, and that's the big one in Munich, coming up middle of next month. And I finally, just today, shipped off our pallets to that show. And so that is now also off my table. I am able to catch my breath a little bit. The wind up to shipping to a show is always very intense. Just, obviously part of it is making sure that I don't forget anything. But also for me, it's also culling through records and stuff to come up with the records that I want to play and demonstrate with in the room at the show. I always want to come up with a bunch of records that are obscure, sort of unknown, but still great sounding. I never want to be the guy playing the old audiophile chestnuts in my room, and so I put a little bit of pressure on myself to come up with a whole new playlist, or not an entirely new playlist, but to have as many new additions to my playlist as possible every time I have a show. So that was intense, a lot of listening and sorting through and culling. And then just to add to that, Roxy, the factory cat who you often see on the videos, she's got a little bit of an infection, so I have to come in every day to give her antibiotics because she has to have her doses every day. And in addition to that, yesterday, which is Sunday, I hosted a listening party for the first tracks, basically the newly mastered tracks that are going to be sent to press vinyl, for a really extraordinary project. The project, it's an opera called La Suspendida, and it is a jazz metal opera. I would say equal parts all of those three things. It's difficult to really even describe it. It's for me, in my opinion, it's a remarkable achievement. It's kind of a masterwork. I saw a preview live presentation of it, and it was probably about half or maybe 2/3 of the entire opera performed live in a concert setting. It wasn't staged as an opera in Queens, and that was probably 2 months ago or so, and was utterly blown away. And it turns out that the composer, so with an opera, there's a composer and a librettist. The composer is the music. The librettist is the essentially the lyrics, the dialogue in the opera. So the composer and essentially the guy who is the spearhead of the whole project, this guy Laurent David, turns out I reviewed one of his or two of his records in a video. It's got to be 2 years ago now, Shijin, and he recognized me. He recognized my name, I guess, and then saw me and knew that I was the guy who had done that video review and thanked me. And so we made a nice little connection. Also, my sister is playing cello on that piece. Laurent reached out to me after he finished writing the opera, getting the whole opera was completed, and then they recorded it, and the tracks were finished mixing and mastering, and he wanted to present it to the musicians. And so the soprano, remarkable singer, was here. The librettist, Will Berger, was here, and my sister and my brother-in-law and Laurent, the composer. And it was astonishing. I really didn't know what to expect. Seeing music live and seeing and listening to it recorded can be very different experiences. And so I wasn't sure about sitting down for an hour and a half and listening to an opera uninterrupted. But this piece was really extraordinary, riveting, and held my attention the entire time. And beautifully mixed, really remarkable. So I may eventually do an entire video on this piece. Maybe I'll save it for when the recording is available. But anyway, that was a big thing as well. And so that is why I haven't made a video in a few weeks. So I'm sorry, but here's a video. It is a record review. The record I am reviewing is from a band. It's the latest from a band called Sylva Esso. This came out last year, about a year ago now. It's called No Rules Sandy. Sylva Esso is a duet. It is a married couple. The 4 albums, maybe three or 4 albums. I discovered them on the radio. I was listening to a morning radio program called The Alternate Side, and they had a hit on the alternate side called Radio, it is a harsh commentary on radio and getting your music played, getting picked up by a record company and getting your music played on the radio. And it is a great song from, I think that's their second album, LP. This is their, I believe, 4th. It's fantastic. So Sylva Esso it's not EDM. EDM is electronic dance music, which has this it tends to be sort of uplifting, a little euphoric, high tempo, high energy, and it's the kind of thing that you see these millionaire superstar DJs in Ibiza, and you see these giant groups and everyone's pogoing at the same time, and it is So there's a strong element of that in Sylva Esso's music, but that is contrasted sharply with much more serious subject matter in the lyrics and to some extent in the delivery, and then this sort of what is happening in the music, even though it has that up-tempo electronic dance music kind of vibe and propulsion to it. It also has, there's a genre called intelligent dance music, IDM, which is kind of it's sort of a middle finger to EDM. It's like the snobs EDM. This isn't really that either, but maybe it's half that. Maybe let's say this is a singer-songwriter alt-pop group that has intentionally limited themselves to the musical language of EDM. Is that complicated enough? Maybe not. Anyway, it's beautiful, great sounding. This one is kind of funny, this record, because it starts off, the first song starts off. Now, this really only applies to somebody who's listening to it on a record, but the entire first song sounds like your stylus has a big fat dust beard on it. It sounds, the distortion that they put intentionally in the mix sounds almost exactly like the distortion that you get when your needle is got a big dust ball on it and it's not tracking well. And it's kind of funny. It certainly got me the first time I looked at my stylus and I'm like, shit, what happened? But it's in the mix, I guarantee it. And track 2 opens up beautifully, clean. It's great. And then actually the last track on this turns into just a beautiful acoustic guitar and vocals. Highly recommended. Great stuff. Check them out. All their albums are great. I love all their albums. Their second album, which I don't remember what it's called, but it has Radio on it. Maybe a good place to start, or maybe this one. It's also just kind of a cool package. It's got sort of a translucent vellum outer jacket printed. Anyway, it's a nice package. It's nice to see LPs taking advantage of their size and their packaging to come up with some nice aesthetics. So, hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye.
It's a jump to rise, lift off right now. Don't know how to swim in the air, come on now, teach you how. It's a step inside the stratus cloud. Don't know how to walk in the sky, come on now, teach you how. Let me help it, let me fight, let me remember how to live my life. Were the rules originally you? Are we learning how to be surreal but free? It's your reality. It's your reality. It's a jump to rise, lift off right now. Don't know how to swim in the air, come on now, teach you how. It's a step inside the stratus cloud. Don't know how to walk in the sky, come on now, teach you how. Let me help it, let me fight, let me remember how to live my life. Were the rules originally are we learning how to be? Let me build it, watch me try. Let me make it up this time. Were the rules originally are we learning how to be surreal but free? It's your reality. It's your reality. Surreal but free. It's your reality. reality.